So there was another part to that question, though, right? It wasn't just, is it weird? It's
Oh, right. How is it relevant to
everyday life?
Yes.
Yeah. It's actually very relevant. I use Pilates in the smallest things that I do. I'm in my car, I'm backing up. Instead of twisting around and twisting my neck around, I'm pulling in and turning my entire torso. So I'm reaching down to pick up groceries, and I'm pulled in my lower abs, my shoulder blades are down. You reach for something, you know, I don't even know. These are common ways that people actually injure their backs, are by doing small household daily chores. And with Pilates, when you're strengthening these smaller muscles, you're less likely to injure yourself, actually. So, and actually, I had a client who told me that her pool game actually improved from taking Pilates, because she was doing a a side shot, or she had to like sit on the table and lean on it or something, and her obliques fired up and sort of helped her balance. So I was like, okay, that's great. That's fabulous to know that it can help somebody's pool game. So really, it could help in any number of ways. It's a good lifelong exercise. Yeah. Okay. What's the next question?
Okay. How is Pilates different from doing a couple hundred crunches?
Okay. That's a good question. Yeah, some people think, well, it's ab work. I mean, why can't I just do crunches? What's the big deal? Well, in the gym, actually, why don't you show us, Vanessa, since you're so good at demonstrating, show us what you do at the gym if you're doing crunches, like just your basic, yeah, just on your own, just without even thinking about Pilates or breathing. Good. So you're pulling in. You're feeling that. Where exactly are you feeling that?
Here and
okay. So your upper torso.
Trying to hold my neck.
Okay. So there's a lot of strain there. So with Pilates, what you're doing is you're activating your lower abs. When you're doing crunches, you're working basically on your six-pack. You're sort of that major muscle there on the surface that kind of helps you pull up. And you can do crunches till the cows come home. You're going to just keep strengthening that six-pack. What we're trying to do in Pilates is basically disengage the rectus abdominis, completely take it out of the picture, which is hard because it's used to doing all this work. It wants to take over. And you want to engage the transverse abdominis, which actually wraps around from the lower back all the way around to the front. And it's the muscle that when you cough, if everybody cough, yeah, it's that muscle that you feel really deep under there, under your belly button. So it's just a different muscle that we're accessing. You can't get to that muscle by doing crunches. I mean, I don't know, maybe you could if you tried, but just take a Pilates class.
Easier.
Yeah. So what's the next question?
Okay. My teacher gets up and walks around the class. I'd rather have her do the exercises so I can watch her.
Okay.
You get that a lot.
Yeah, people are like, I mean, I get this from my students, like, well, can you show me what you want me to do? I'm using my words because I'm trying to get the client to actually organize themselves from the inside out. It's a totally different way of learning. You're developing a totally different skill set here. Most people are used to exercise classes where the instructor's in front, kind of doing whatever the exercise is, and everybody follows along and imitates her. This is different. Pilates is specifically about you getting in touch with the muscles, identifying them, isolating certain muscles, and figuring this out on your own. Let's actually do, what would be good for this is single leg stretch. If we do pretend like you finished your last rolling like a ball, if you do that in the middle of there we go. So you're balanced here, and I'm going to get this yoga block out of the way. And what you're going to do is get prep for single leg stretch. You're going to roll back onto your back, taking your right knee with you, extending the left leg long, beautiful, and keeping your shoulder blades up off the mat, good. And yes, your right hand's going to go on the outside of your right ankle, your left hand's going to go on the inside of your knee. That is a mouthful. It's a mouthful to get out, and it's a mouthful to absorb. First time people do it, they're like, you want me to put what, where, left, right? I don't know. So it's very challenging. You can relax. I know you're like holding the position. But that's an example of why it's important for the teacher, because as you're doing that, I can cue you to pull in certain places, activate certain muscles. I can see if you might be holding a lot of tension up here and cue you to soften that. So you want a teacher who's actually up. It's going to be a harder workout because there's no cheating when you have a teacher over you saying, hey, pull in there. But But yeah, so that's why actually, that person should be glad they have it. That means that's a sign of a good teacher, actually.
Right.
So what else do we have?
Okay. Is Pilates like yoga?
Is Pilates, okay. You've taken both yoga and Pilates, so you already know the answer to this. I get this question all the time if I meet somebody and I tell them what I do. I teach Pilates. They're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. That's like yoga, right? Not really. I mean, it's a whole different thing. It is similar in that it's mind-body connected. You're trying to kind of get acquainted with your inner self there and your muscles from the inside out, and it's very focused on breath work as well. And would you say I would say it's also harder than it looks.
Definitely harder.
So Vanessa makes it look really graceful and easy, but it takes a lot of effort. So that's true,
With the
yeah.
cross training.
Yep. So yoga, Pilates, they're similar. They complement each other, but they're actually different. I mean, Pilates is actually, it's a sequence of specific movements that you do. It's very dynamic. Your heart rate gets up, which does in yoga as well, but it's just kind of its own little separate thing. So that answers that question. What else we got? We got a lot of questions today. This is great.
Oh, this is my favorite. My boyfriend thinks Pilates is for girls. I tell him he'd be crying after the hundreds.
Yeah. I run into guys who are athletic and they ask about, well, I don't know, should I take
Like
this?
it's ballet.
Yeah, like it's, well, and there's nothing wrong with guys taking ballet.
Good for athletes.
At all. Pilates is not just for women at all. I think in major metropolitan areas you don't really have, it's not as much of a thing. You see guys in classes more often. But it's tough. It's a good workout if you're an athlete, if you're just a weekend warrior, like to do things on the weekend, if you want to get in shape. And it's hard. And I mean, we've seen it can be very clumsy. So I mean, if somebody's self-conscious or maybe a guy kind of doesn't want to look like, he can't hold his own in a class, you got to leave your ego out of it because nobody really is looking at you. They're kind of suffering through their own workout. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give that, whoever he is, I'll give him a free class. And yeah, so it's good for both.
Okay.
Thanks. What's the next question?
Okay. My legs cramp up during the side series. Is there anything I can do besides suffer and curse?
These are great letters. Sidekick series, yeah, that's its own whole thing. It's a beautiful, great part of the whole Pilates workout, and I definitely want to show people something. So Vanessa, why don't you go ahead and get to the back edge of your mat there. Got a couple bobby pins there in the way. And yeah, there are definitely things that you can do for Sidekick series. Let's first of all get into good form. You're going to stack your hips one on top of the other and your shoulders, and you're going to pull up under your waist, and you're going to do whatever you have to with that arm that's underneath. Everybody complains, like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do with this lower arm? Like, I don't know. You just have to figure, everybody's different. Some people like to use a yoga block as a pillow. Other people want to use their arm. But the important thing is you want to keep the spine in one straight line. So you do what you have to stay stacked, squared off, lifted up in the waist. Now, just for contrast, let's see. So you're in this beautiful lifted form. Just for contrast, Vanessa, go ahead and just relax everything and just okay. So you see the big difference that makes. Now go back into the good form, pulled up. This is almost like doing like side crunches. You should have so much effort here. Yeah, you feel it there. Exactly. So now the trick is we're actually going to be doing leg work, but we're not going to be moving here. So there's a big difference in lifting your leg and reaching your leg. Just in your mind, the idea of lifting something, all of a sudden it's heavier. Go ahead and lift your leg up. Now put your leg back down. Now go ahead and reach your leg long and up. Good. And you should feel a little bit stretching in here. You basically want that leg, the top leg, to be reaching past the bottom leg. Now let's do kicks front and back. Flex the foot, swing it forward, pulse once. Now watch how she does not wiggle in here. And point, reach back. Good. And keep going. And reach back. And see, she's even got a little wiggle here going on, but she's working against that. So let's go ahead and do a couple of sloppy ones and just see what happens. So just let everything go. And this is the danger of doing it at home. If you do this at home to a tape and you think you're getting a good, this is totally different. You're like falling backwards, you're not controlling. So go ahead and come back and do good form and just show the difference. Lift, flex, swing forward, pulse, and reach the leg long back. You should feel this stretch all through here. And the reaching, you're going to you can relax now. A lot of people get cramping right in here. Some of that, it's just going to be a little uncomfortable until you build the strength. But to keep it from cramping, really just thinking that leg long can help. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And eat bananas.
And eat bananas to keep the legs from cramping up. Yep. Good job. Thank you very much. Okay, so does that wrap things up? Do we have any more questions?
I think that was our last email.
Okay. Well, gosh, thank you so much, you guys,
Sure.
for helping out. This is a lot of fun, and thank you for tuning in. We really hope that you learned a lot. If you want to learn more, there should be a website appearing on your screen, and go ahead and email and ask any other questions. It's a great way of exercise that can basically see you through the rest of your life because it's good for all ages, all sizes, all fitness levels. Great benefits. So I'm really excited. Thank you very much for tuning in, and take care.